for joining. We're going to go over ways to provide feedback and grade on CodeHS Free and Pro here. So I will get started. If you have any issues seeing the screen, please let us know in the chat. So I'm going to go over grading in a computer science class and just how that's done through CodeHS. Grading on, we'll look at free and pro features. With the pro, we'll go into those specific grading tools and resources since you may have not used those. We'll go over the different integrations that are available and then have some time for questions. Now, if you're not familiar with CodeHS, I'm assuming most people are, but we're a comprehensive teaching platform for computer science in middle and high schools. We have full online PD curriculum for 6 to 12, full software platform, student certifications, and teacher tools and resources. Which brings me to, if you do not have a teacher account, that would definitely be your first step. You can follow, if Laura, you want to share this in the chat, the codehs.com/signup. You can make a free teacher account and have access to all the free tools we're going to go over today for grading. So I'll give that a second here, but it should be pretty easy to do. And this will be recorded, so you can always go through and after you've created it, walk through what we go through today. Okay, so we're going to do a little poll here if everyone doesn't mind participating. If you've used Slido, if you just go to slido.com and put in our code here, it's 068693, and I'm going to go here, but it'll be shared here as well. So just to know where you're at with CodeHS grading, what tools have you used? So you can use the QR code here and scan it with your phone, or you can just put in the code here on slido.com. It has a place to put in the code for our specific poll. And I'd love to see where people are at, get a sense of what you've used. All right, so we have a few that have used Pro, both, great. And Slido in general is also a great tool that we use all the time and you can use with your students. Okay, great. So it looks like everyone's seen at least a little bit of CodeHS. Oh, okay, so we have someone that's never graded. That's great. I can definitely go into that then. Okay, so kind of a mix. Awesome. Well, thank you for participating, everybody. And it looks like we'll definitely go over free for people who have not looked at it before. And then if you've seen pro, hopefully some of this will be a reminder or new things that you haven't seen. And then you can use both the free and the pro. And just a reminder, the pro is our paid feature. So that is something I'll show at the end, but you can always ask your school about and your admin to move forward with. But this way you'll know, what you can get with both sides of the site. All right, awesome. Okay, great. So to get started, just wanted to go over the mastery-based grading we have through CodeHS. So there's a few different ways you can demonstrate the mastery of a certain set of materials. And I'll show them, through the site, but just to go over it. You can check completion up to a certain point for individual students, just to see if they passed the problems or completed them. You can have them build a project, which we have a ton of different project-based assignments through CodeHS courses, or you can create your own that require, complex understanding of different concepts. So they'd be able to show that. You have passing a challenging exercise, which we have throughout all of the courses, or demonstrating mastery on an exam or quiz. And I'll show you how to see the answers for those as teacher. So one of the first things, just a cool demo here, we have is instant feedback. So for students, and then teachers can use this as well if they're working with students, or to go through and see, student work in previously. So I will click over here. This is showing one of our assignments. So this is from the teacher view, but you can see student work here in the middle. This is with our Carol the dog unit. And so we have students completed this. Now what they can do when they're going through this is use the test cases on the right here. And students can run this themselves to check their code against our test cases and AutoGrader to see how they're doing. So this is really helpful for you to help them debug and walk through each assignment. but also for them, they can, help themselves and see where they're going wrong, what they need to adjust, and what they need to pass to complete this assignment. So these are great. These change, as they adjust the code. So I can check here. This one's a pretty quick one, but it's going to tell me where to go. All right. And you can find that in your students that are enrolled in your class when you go to their assignments. All right, so first we're going to go over the free tools. So these are available on your teacher account and can be used for progress tracking and grading with any of your classes. So first I'll go into individual student progress tracking. We'll look at the grade mode and the test cases that we just demoed, looking at quiz grades, and then some more feedback-based tools like messaging and the step debugger. Okay. Perfect. So this goes into the color question we had a little bit. We could touch on this. So this is an individual student view. So as my teacher, I'm viewing my student Olivia, and I'm able to see their progress on the right here. And you can open up individual units. You can go through each specific assignment that's color coded here. And you can do this for each student. Now up here, you'll be able to see the key. So we can go through it. This is going to be the same. There's a few other places we'll use the key, the color codes, and it'll be the same. So gray is going to be, it hasn't been opened yet. It's just been assigned. Yellow, the student has opened it, but they haven't started it yet. So maybe they've just taken a look and read it. Green is going to be, they've submitted it. So they click submit. Pink is if it's been reviewed by you as the teacher. And submitted back to the student, maybe saying they need work. This maroon is going to be, it's been resubmitted by the student after you asked for work. And then finalized is our dark green here, means they've completed it fully, it's finalized as a grade. And so if you open up these, you'll be able to see kind of some different colors here. The students finished quite a bit. And you can see what they're still working on. Okay, now, and you can switch between students up here as well. This is probably the easiest way on the free end to see each individual student's progress. Now, when we go to grade mode, so if you're not wanting to do individual students and want to go by more what's been submitted that day, you can go down here, and I've clicked on the review tab here under my teacher account. And you have grade mode here at the bottom. So this is your live submissions. Student submissions here at the bottom. You have a quick, easy give full credit, which if they've passed the auto grader, a lot of teachers will do, showing that they've completed it. But you can also click into grade mode here, and it's going to take you straight to the assignment, similar to what we were looking at before, but so that you can grade straight from the student work here. If you'd rather do it by, look through their individual code rather than giving more of a completion grade, you can do that here, and then you can also submit that grade on the right here, so the student will see that. You can run the code and see everything from the student perspective. And so this is a great place to go day to day. You can use that review tab and see where you're at. Now with quiz grades, that's going to be a different section. I will go back here so we can click into that. Now there's a few different ways you can see quiz grades, and one of them is going to be on the individual quiz itself, same way that you can switch through different students here, and allows you to see how they're doing on each individual question. So this is great to see different mastery of concepts. With quizzes, this is mainly going to be if they've completed the slides or videos. You can see if they've actually completed that and where they might need more help or more questions. Okay, and we'll go back to the messaging feature. So more to the feedback here. When we go to our review tab, along with your student submissions here, you have your messaging feature at the top. This is a great one, especially if you're hybrid or virtual, to keep questions and conversations within the assignment with students. They can submit it to you and then you can submit feedback. So I'll go click into this question here, but they're able to submit this under conversation. And on the right over here, you click more and go to conversation. And they can send you questions. So I don't get it, can you help? You can answer here. You can tell them to look, at a certain line, and can help them with the next steps so that they can complete the problem. And again, these will show under that review tab. So a good thing to kind of do mid-class if you're working with a larger class. And back to here. So back to the debugger. Again, this is to help them walk through. This is available on Python and Java. And so you'll be able to walk through individually and kind of slow it down to help students, again, debug on their own. This is something you could do with a full class or individual students. So if you run it here, it's going to allow you to step through. Rather than when you just run it on a standard assignment, it's going to run through the full assignment and see where they get stuck. But here it allows you to go a little slower, see what you're doing, and walk through how that assignment's going to go. So really cool feature for students and teachers. Okay, so those are going to be our main free tools. Again, feel free to put questions in the chat if you'd like. And for the Java debugger, so I don't know if I have a link here straight to that one. The buttons are going to look the same here as far as to step through it. And it'll walk through very similarly, and you should be able to get to that from like the Java course. But I can find a link to that too. And Lori, if you have a specific place that would make sense for that, we can always add that. So here, this is another video we have. And with CodeHS, another helpful tool we have is our knowledge base. And a lot of walkthrough videos are pre-made, kind of like this webinar, that show you how to do a lot. So that's another link that we can share. That's always helpful when you're using CodeHS. Okay, so we will find some things on Java there, but let's get into Pro. So some of these may be new, and you'll see a lot of them are added on to the free start of the features. Okay, so when you have Pro, the biggest thing you'll have on a day-to-day is these progress tracking dashboards. So this is going to be my demo class here. You'll see we have all the colors. You can see on a higher level where your class is at, and it breaks down in different ways. So you have, this one is by assignment. You can do it by lesson, by module. If you want to see, the mastery of certain content, you can also do this by quizzes. So instead of looking at quizzes in that individual way we did on the free end, you can just see it on a higher level for the class. You can see the mean score of certain questions, and you can adjust how you want to view it as the teacher. We also have time tracking. This is great for, again, if you are hybrid or virtual or just want to see where students are at without, going behind their computer, seeing how long they've taken on a specific question. So great to see, if someone's taking 5-10 minutes on something that most students are taking 1 minute on, or if you see a student that's taking 15 seconds, something to maybe check in with them on. All right, next is going to be fast grades. So back to our review tab, instead of just using that grading tool that the free side has, we have a fast grade that should make your life a whole lot easier. I'm going to be on the right here. So when you click into this, all right, this is going to take you to kind of like a flashcard type grading here. It's going to show you the student submitted code, the solution code. You can also run either of those on the right here if maybe you're less familiar from just the written code here. This is with our Carol unit. You can also run the solution code on the right. It's going to give you the description, the rubric, and more info on the question. And then here you can grade. So I'll award full credit, and it's going to move right on to the next student. Here, if we're maybe going to add some feedback, we'll say comment your code, we'll say needs work, it's going to submit that pink back to that student. Here we'll award full credit again, and it moves really quickly through each student for the same assignment until you've gone through all of your grades. And those will go to the gradebook that we're going to see next, but super quick way to do it. All right, I'll close these out. And next is going to be the customizable gradebook. So I know for a lot of teachers, this is a huge feature that allows you to use CodeHS, really do everything in one place through CodeHS. This can be same colors as the previous progress tracking to allow you to be more detailed. You can export this by Excel or CSV, and then I'll go into the integrations and you can configure this. So with the gradebook, you can decide what you want to be shown. Some teachers, if you're doing the videos in class, for example, can take those out of the gradebook. You can do display settings. If you want students to be able to view their grade report or not, you can have late assignment settings. You can set your own weighted gradings as well. And then you can edit straight from here. So this one's great if you decide, okay, this is going to be worth a lot more than we said. It was a pretty difficult assignment. You can go in here and add those points, and it will update proportionately for all the students on the gradebook here and automatically update that. You would also be able to see here any late flags and everything at a higher level of where your class is at. All right, and then last, I'll go back to those quiz settings that we saw on the free end, but you have a lot more options with Pro. So on the right here, you see these Pro features. You can give retakes for all students or individual students. You can print quizzes if you want more offline options. And then when we get to the grading settings, I'll show you more of a higher level where you can adjust that. So when we go here, we'll go to settings, and this will be the last part of the Pro, but all of these Pro tools here on the right are under course settings. And for grading, I'll show you the two grading settings that are probably the biggest just for this area. And so one of them is going to be allowing it to be teacher graded or auto graded. You can choose that as a teacher. So you can go down and do that between each unit or into each individual assignment if it's applicable. So you have a lot of customization you can do with the course. They'll mostly be defaulted, like in this beginning one, to auto grader, and you can decide how you want to change that. And then quiz settings just gives you, again, a little more control over how those questions are set up. We'll give this a second to load. There we go. If you want the correct answers to show for students, if you want the full quiz to show for students, and how you want to shuffle things. So more settings with Pro. Okay. And so I'll go forward as long as, Lori, we don't have anything that I need to touch on here. Good, okay, great. Okay, so just a little bit about integration. This is something, when you're working with CodeHS, we have someone that helps you set this up and make sure it works for your school. And we have a bunch of different integrations. The biggest one that I like to share with grading is going to be Google Classroom, because you can, on Pro, pass back grades as well as assignments. On Free, you can import your roster from Google Classroom, but a really helpful feature. And so if you have any questions with integrations, definitely something to ask your school about, and reach out to CodeHS about if you're looking to integrate with what your school's already using. And yep, so my good question, Lori can answer that, but grading categories can be customized and weighted through the gradebook. So that is a Pro feature. Great, well, those are all of our main features kind of standalone. When you log into your account, you'll be able to explore those a lot more, but are there any questions that we have? Yes, so to add your items into the CodeHS gradebook, you would just add your own assignment. So you can do that by creating an assignment. I can actually show you that here. So it would look the same. Once you're in the gradebook, Kim had asked, is there a way to add our items into the CodeHS gradebook? So I'm assuming you mean like your own assignments or own quizzes. It would look the same here. So it's going to show up here as part of, depending on how you have it viewed, as part of the assignments. And so you would just need to add it into your class that way. And then it'll show up on the gradebook the same way. You also have this create button over here, which I won't go through and create a whole assignment, but this is a great place if you'd like to customize. You can do on the free end as well. If you just want to bring in your own assignments, you can do that here. So you can create a new assignment and add it to your section of students. And you can do all different types of assignments. Good question. Any other questions on grading tools? We will be able to send this info out, and there's more. You can always reach out to CodeHS support or our knowledge base as well for any questions with things we went over. A lot more ways to get involved with CodeHS, and we have more webinars, more workshops put on by our great PD team. We have our CodeHS Educators Facebook group, and definitely reach out to us and follow us on social media. And then we do have, keep an eye out for upcoming webinars that are on, more specific topics if you're looking to learn more about anything here. And feel free, I'll leave this chat open for any questions here since we have a few minutes. But thank you all.